Good morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Get my speakers adjusted here.
Morning, Keith.
All right, we'll get rolling this fine Thursday. And this is going to be another Thursday like it was a few weeks ago where I do have a half an hour, Dave.
Okay, no problem.
I have a recurring thing. I think it's either once a month at this time or every other couple of weeks. So
Yeah, no problem at all. Got to do what you got to do.
all right. Well, we're cooling down a little bit, but it's still beautiful out. Might hear birds chirping behind us.
That's nice. We had a couple beautiful days here, but today it's rainy and cold. So anyway,
It'll get better. Don't worry.
Can't always have a good day. Speaking of good days, we are down on the spread.
And it's nicely continuing.
Yeah. A little conflict because the spreadsheet set up, but we're still negative on the bell curve, but it was going down the bell curve. But the binary trend was solidly negative. I did not take this trade, but, and one of the reasons why I was morning, Greg, I was kind of running a little bit late this morning myself because I've been working on the new VolArb script. And I got so involved in it, I didn't even look at the time. Let me see if I can.
I was also preoccupied and not in the trade this morning. I wasn't even at the computer until a few minutes ago. That's why I was a few minutes behind as well. So yeah, I'm not taking advantage of this little move here that if anybody is in it, I would personally recommend to probably take your profits off.
Yeah. Take profits is always a good thing if you have them.
Unless you got some other secret thing that says it's going to go to 1%. We're at 0.3 already.
Yeah, once we get around 0.3, remember that's about 70% of an average day is 0.5%. 0.5% day is the average on the spread. So you get around 0.3, that's a pretty good move.
That's a nice little push there too.
Yeah. But I do have something that said to stay short.
Interesting.
A little bit of a conflict here, but yeah, pretty much stay short. So I went short last night, and it went against me on the micro contracts, and I was down about $40. But the new indicator I'm working on said to stay short. So
yes.
I did.
Definite activity overnight there, looking at those overnight bars.
Yeah. I got in just, I think it was around 10 o'clock Eastern time, so it'd be 9 your time.
Last night?
Yep.
Okay.
So in a 4 hour, I guess it'd be someplace in there.
Yeah, somewhere right around this beginning of this bar.
Yep, went against me. I was down about $40. But the indicator that I'm working on for the timing of the VolArb chart, based on what I was talking about on Tuesday is what Dr. Ziemba was talking about as far as calendar spreads. So I kind of put some ideas that I took from his book into a script, and I started coding it and kind of put some of the finishing touches, not quite finished yet, but put some of the finishing touches on it yesterday. Shams, Dan, if you can, check my last email.
Yeah, I will definitely double check, but I have noticed, so anybody that's on here, I've noticed that a few of the times I've sent mails and it's stuck in my outbox, so I'm trying to make sure I get back and clean those up in case there's any that I have missed, but I will double check a Sham for sure.
Greg's power went out this morning. Just
Mm,
got his internet back. Oh,
that'll do it.
that's tough. I hate that. Sham is accessing the room via mobile. Wow,
Yeah, you can do the Zoom client on a mobile device too. It's pretty cool.
that's cool.
I don't know how well you'll be able to see the screen since I got a big monitor, but you let me know how that looks.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty tiny.
That is one thing I was going to test. So remind me next Tuesday. I want to test on a different monitor because I've had a few people say that was hard to see. So I'm going to test on a different resolution.
Okay. Yeah, even on my, I've got a pretty big screen. It still looks kind of small to me. But.
Okay. Whoa. Is someone being funny here? From administrator to everyone.
Administrator. Who's the administrator? Somebody signed in as administrator.
That's hilarious. Well, they like the Infiltrator script. That's a lot to read suddenly. Someone had that ready to rock and roll.
I guess so. Must have copied and pasted.
Right. It's Pete. Hey, Pete. Sorry to hear about your loss. You took us by surprise there with your prepped conversation, so no problem. Sham, you got the email? Are you saying that looks okay?
Sorry to hear about your coworker. That's tough. 49 years old. Jeez.
So if anyone wasn't in that long, or that short, excuse me, see how we had that nice push? That's we were talking, that's a nice little exit point if you were in that short, and now it's coming back.
Yep. You got to take the profits when you got them. Take the profits.
Hit the fifth column. Guys were asking why I got the fifth column on the one in the 5 minutes. That was another signal that it was time to exit there. 5 minute chart, fifth column hit. Just about at the bottom of the where that before it turned. Can't ask for much better than that. I did notice something yesterday in my trading, Dave, that kind of made me angry. So as we all know, I trade on Interactive Brokers, right?
Yeah.
And I was doing some scalping, and I'm watching my charts on TOS. And all of a sudden I was like, something's not lining up here. I think the feeds are faster on Interactive Brokers than they are that I was getting my drawings on TOS. Because my dollars were changing before the charts were updated. I'm like, I don't like this at all.
Oh.
So I made the dive and I bought my feeds, which I didn't have to until yesterday. I was avoiding it until I could, but being I'm registered as my friends and family account, and I've registered under my business. I'm classified as a professional trader, so I get to pay the larger fees. So I broke down and started that. I think it's going to still pay for itself, though.
Yeah. What are they on Interactive Brokers?
For the futures, $225 a month.
Yeah.
$112.50 each.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, for being free, I mean, we can't really complain about TOS too much. It's just
right.
The commissions that are so bad.
I figure I can make up that fees, and it's at the end of the day, it's a write-off for the business too, but it just hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to necessarily pay for something that you don't have to.
Right.
But yeah, it'll definitely pay for itself. I'm really liking TraderVite. I've been doing more of the minis on there, and I really like their platform. And there's the speed of the transactions, and the data is very good.
I have not checked them out yet. I'll have to kick the tires there.
They don't have you can't set up the family plan on there. But,
right.
But they're actually, I like it through Dorman Trading. I picked up Dorman Trading today.
Oh, Sham, yes, I do remember that email, and I could have swore I replied to it, but yeah, we can definitely cover that here quick. He was asking about when to enter swing trades, whether it was between that 15 minutes after the market closes and the futures stops trading, and then between that 45-minute limbo area before the day's officially over where they reopen for a little bit, then they close for an hour. I don't have an exact science of when I enter a swing trade. I have done them both between that 15 minutes right after the bell and when the futures contract stop. I have also done them right when the market opens again at 5 p.m. my time, I believe it is, 6 p.m. Eastern, whereas and the day starts where you watch this next bar. I've done it both, so there isn't a right or a wrong answer there, I would say. Either way, you're going to be pretty close to the same situation as far as entering a swing trade for the ARB strategy.
I can tell you that I did a lot of swing trading before I found the 4-hour bar secret, and I entered the positions right after the open at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So what I was doing was I was looking at the percentage changes between the YM and the NQ and kind of seeing how they open. And a lot of times you can kind of tell that, hey, it's going to go negative or it's going to go positive just based on the open around 6 p.m. And so I took either long or short based on the spreadsheet right around that time period. And then I kind of watched it for a couple of hours to see how it was trending. The big issue, though, was that right before the open, I'd have a profit. And actually, I found out later that was a good time to exit and then re-enter after the market opened. So if you're doing a swing trade for like 2 or 3 days in a row, I'm not sure that's you'd want to keep that in mind that, just like we see in the H4 and the M1, typically they go in the opposite direction of the open. And so I got out before the open, typically on those trades, on those swing trades, and then I'd re-enter if it looked like it was still going in my direction. But then when we found the H4 secret, the big moves happen in that 9 a.m. 4-hour bar. Then I stopped doing the swing trades overnight. But now that we have the micros back, you can take advantage of those again. So, but that's when I entered, typically right around just after 6 p.m. Eastern time.
So, hopefully that answers all of your questions there, Sham, about swing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see you're talking about the screen. So the screen does look good on mobile, so that's cool. Thank you, my little tester out there.
So let's see. If you want to shift over to me, I'm going to tease people with the script that I've been working on. Give them a little taste here. So there's 2 studies that I'm working on. One is a swing trade arbitrage signal. And it's really simple because all you do is go long when the green line passes the red line. That's it. And you go short when the red line passes the green line. So you would have gone long here approximately, and you would have gone short here. Now, if you did get into this long position here, you would have gotten out someplace in here. I mean, you don't really want to stick around that long, so you got to use money management rules too. When you got a profit, especially on a big move like that, you want to take it. Now, it's not 100% yet. It's not quite perfect. You would have gotten into a little bit of a long position here. It would have gone against you, but then it would have worked out okay. A little short position here would have gotten in a little bit too early. It would have gone against you. So I'm still working on it, but I think it's going to be a fairly decent system. And one of the reasons why I entered that short position as I did last night was because as long as the red line is above the green line, that's a short. That's the opportunity to get into or stay into a short position. And the bottom signal. So this is basically just up and down. So what you want to do is you want to look at the up signal as being higher than the down signal. So if a down signal, right now, the up signal is below the down signal. It's negative. Actually, you don't even need these lines. You can just look at this and see which one is higher, and then take a position based on that. But I needed some way to check because, for example, on this high, you would have gotten into it here. You would have gotten into the long position right here because that's minus 130 and the red was minus 178. So 130 is higher. Would have gotten in just about here on the long side. But I needed a way to check to get out. So I created a second study that gave me an idea of when it would hit some sort of upper or lower, like an overbought or oversold condition. And so I created this study, and the oversold condition is right around minus 500. The overbought condition is right around plus 500. And so on this, you can see that it hit the low here, but we didn't get a signal to go long yet. But it would have prevented you from taking a short position here. And then we got the long position, and then we started rising and flattening out here after we hit the minus 5,000 or 500 oversold position. And we had a higher low that would have given you an indication of some confidence to take the long position. And then we went up to plus 500. Plus 500, you would have gotten been right here, right in there someplace. Now this is on a 4-hour chart. I tested it on a shorter time frame. It kind of works okay, but it's not great. It seems to be pretty well suited for the 4-hour chart, and I'd kind of stick to the 4-hour chart. But once you get up to this plus 500 area, that's when you want to start, it's rising really, really quickly here up to that 500 level. You want to take a look at your profits. Plus, you just look at these bars and you say, hey, that's a pretty big move. You want to get out. At the same time, it started to decline, but we didn't get a signal. The red line didn't cross the green line yet. It did here, right about there. Pretty close, and we were already starting to go into a decline. So I'm still tweaking these. I'm still working on them, but I think it's going to be great for swing traders. Anybody who's interested in taking positions over a period of the 4-hour chart, which is kind of like one of my favorite charts for a lot of different reasons. And if you do basic technical analysis, like I had this line drawn here for support from this previous peak here, a little bit of support here, nice support line, real basic TNA stuff. It kind of gives you an idea of what may happen, but I mean, so far, looks like it's shaping up. I still got a lot of work on it, work to do on it, but I kind of like the way it's playing out here. Anyway, that is my share of the day.
No, I think that's fantastic because a lot of the stuff that we have right now works on really short time frame, right? And then those are going to work on the swing so we can have signals for both. So
exactly.
That's pretty fantastic there, sir.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Ziemba gave me some great ideas out of that book.
Hisham says you have some awesome coding skills to get indicators working.
Well, actually, my coding skills are pretty basic, but I know what I want. I think it starts with knowing what I want as far as the indicator goes. And using Dr. Ziemba's ideas, I was able to put together something really basic. But if you looked at the code, it's really ugly. So I don't know if I have awesome coding skills. I'll probably hand it over to Andrew and let him clean it up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of technical analysis, Dave and I were shooting text after we saw this Tuesday. I think it was after that big down move. Or no, it was the day after. It was right here where this respected.
Yes.
This line back here further. So I started drawing a few lines just because I was curious on the rest of them. I was like, yeah, here's where that one, all night, boom, boom, boom. And it said, nope, you're not going any farther.
Yeah, total rejection right there. That it really respected that trend line.
So I drew a couple. I'm like, well, what do the other levels do? And sure enough, it's like, yeah, this one turned right around that one where it went down, and then it wouldn't go up any farther, so it became resistance again, and then it stopped right there.
Yeah.
And now look where we're at.
Yep. Very interesting. Now the bottom one there, when I do that line and I was doing the TSA, I noticed that it did dip below that a little bit before it closed, but it closed right on it.
Oh, right here on the Tuesday?
Yeah, it dipped below that a little bit on while it was still being formed. But then it came back up and it closed right on it, which was interesting.
Keith says, how did you come up with a short on VA? The 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. 4-hour was basically neutral based on all the indicators.
The 4-hour, really?
Which one?
Oh, no, we don't do 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the 4-hour. We do 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
We take the previous, excuse me, guys. It's the cold weather that we've been getting, I guess, today. Yeah, we'll take the 4-hour overnight and the 1 minute just from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And it was just a real basic upward slope. So yeah, let's see, where's your 1 minute? There you go. Yeah, so it was a upward slope from 9 a.m. to, or 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So 7 to 8 year time.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely an upward slope. Yeah. And that gave us an indication that it would be just a little bit up at the open and then down.
Now everyone's sitting there saying, see, Dan, you said to get out and it's still making money.
Well, that's because my new arbitrage is negative.
That's fantastic.
Telling me to stay short.
Well, at least it's not massive hard landings anymore. 6, 5, 4. We like slow movement.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's really good. The only thing I can think of is, as far as those hard landings go, is there's a big institutional trader out there who is liquidating either technology positions or the industrials, and they're messing with the market.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what makes the bell curve work. What makes the spreadsheet work in general is the rotation from tech into industrials and back again. Keith, did that answer your question okay?
I was just checking to make sure we didn't miss anything either there. I do have just a few minutes left. I know it's a short session. Every other Thursday now, guys, we'll have a shorter session. If you were not at the beginning, I got to stop at the bottom of the hour here today.
Yeah, and then if you look at the 4 hours, we basically had a kind of a little downward bias there, leading right up into the open, which would have given you an up bias. Or was it
Yeah, 4 hour you had the down bias, so it's kind of an up. It's a down slope. But it's tricky when these, I personally don't like the worst because we had a large bar or a larger, then a reversal larger. So,
well, that big red bar. What time frame is that?
That's the middle of the night. That's the 2 a.m.
Yeah, so that's where I did the measurement. So I took the last 2 bars. I took that bar and then I took the next one.
Or this is the midnight bar for me, so 1 a.m. for you.
Right. So that would have been the low, and then I connected it to the next bar, which is a higher low. And so that was that indicated that we have a slight upward bias on the 4 hour. That's what I put in the TSA, didn't I? Can't remember. I get it. You have a TSA there someplace?
Yeah, it's I can scoot it over. Clean up one thing. Or I can take a screenshot of it and let me bring that over.
That's okay. I got it.
You got it? You're fast.
All right. So yeah, the H4 had a downslope, so I'm going to up bias. Yeah, I think I was looking at the previous 3 bars. That's what was going on. So I had the up bar, we had the big down bar, and then we had the little small up bar, and that indicated a down bias. But we had overnight, if you looked at it overnight, it's still down no matter how you look at it, even if you did it all the way back to the close from yesterday. So that would have been a slight up bias there. But the nice thing about the TSA alerts now, doing it on the website, is because I can add longer notes.
Yeah, definitely get some commentary.
Yeah, I'm not limited to the characters in the text messages. So I can do a little explanation in there, which is really nice. So I said, spreadsheet indicates an up bias, but the binary trend is still negative with a down bias. So with that down bias, and also, the bell curve is still negative, even though it's going down the bell curve. And you got a binary trend that's negative as well. So on the H4, Keith, we're doing the bias was slightly to the downside, which would indicate an up bias, but everything else kind of canceled it out because of the conflicts with the spreadsheet and the binary trend. All right, I know you got to run, Dan. I appreciate your time, and you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Tuesday. I'm going to continue to work on this new script, and hopefully I'll have something finished for you by Tuesday. Give me a weekend to work on it.
No, and I'll leave you guys with this too. I'm going to send out an email later for anybody that doesn't see it, but since you guys are going to get a little early blast, a little treat since you're on the live session, if you know anyone or if you're potentially, have someone that needs the membership, we're going to have a sale this weekend for Father's Day. It's going to be 75% off.
Nice.
The memberships, Premium Plus Premium, or if anybody needs to upgrade the VolArb, if anybody's regular right now, we're giving a 75% discount. Use coupon code DADSDAY, DADSDAY.
Nice.
So that's your hot tip, and nobody else knows except for you guys.
Yeah, that's very nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, for you fathers out there, have a great Father's Day weekend. And Greg, take care. Keith, you too. Mark, no problem. Guys, have a great time and great weekend. And we'll see you again Tuesday.
You got it. Happy Father's Day to you too, Dave, and the rest of you.
You too, Dan. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.